Welcome dear friends. In today's clip we learn how to create this cool 3D render using Cinema 4D and Adobe After Effects. So let's get started together. So I'm inside Cinema 4D. I use the text Spline to create the text. So you can use any font you want. I'm going to use Nexa Bold. And here it is, yeah, it's here, and change the text to 3. Okay, I create another copy of that, hide the first one, and there is a way inside Cinema 4D that you can subdivide splines from one another, and when you have two different splines, you can subdivide them from one another using a spline mask. So as you can see, I have two splines here, and I'm going to use an spline mask in order to subdivide them from each other. And if you go to the modes of a spline mask, you can change the behavior of these two splines by changing the mood. Yes, I'm going to change the position of this one here, the scale 2. Okay, create another copy of the spline mask, change the rectangle spline position and also the scale of that, make it a little bit smaller. Okay, let's create another copy and change the position of this one too. Okay, let's extrude the text. Change the caps to fillet cap and add the radius and some steps. Okay, let's create another copy of that. We can use the extrude object for our spline mask to extrude them. We need 3 copy of that. Okay, just make the spline mask a child of the extrude. So here we need to change the mode. Okay, change it. See, now we will change the position of the text. We can see that we have created parts of the letter 3, as you can see in the viewport. And that's really easy to change the position and navigate through the scene. Okay, I think it's a good position for that one. Just make it a little bit larger. Okay, the third one. I feel it looks good. Okay, let's create a background for the letter. First, group them together and rename them to 3 and 3 background. Okay, let's change the position of that. Okay, that's nice. Make the cube smaller. Add some filler to the edges of the cube. Okay. Change the position of the letter. Let's create a camera and position our camera in the scene. Okay, let's have another copy for letter D. Change the text to D. Okay. Rotate it 90 degrees and change the position. That's nice. And using the same method, I mean using the spline masks, we can create or subdivide parts of the letter D in order to give it a style. Make the rectangle X spline a child of the text. Bring it in the middle. Okay. Put the two splines inside the spline mask. Change them to AND. Okay, that's nice. Create another copy and change the rectangle spline position. Create another one and change the position of the rectangle spline. That looks nice. And create more copies of the extrude object, and now make each spline mask a child of the extrude to give it a depth. Let's group them and rename the group name to D glass and D background. Group them all together and call it D. So we need to rename these to 3 glass, okay, and 3 BG, 3 background. Okay, bring the D glass objects a little bit forward. Okay, add a cylinder. It looks good. So let's make some changes to the render setting. Have another test cylinder. That's better. Another test render. Okay. Group them all together and rename the group name to text. Okay, let's create some background elements for the scene. Okay, create the second one. That's good. And let's have another copy of that. Bring down the size in X and Z axis. Okay. And bring down the Y scale. Another test render. Okay. Let's change the position and rotation of the camera. Rotate it a little bit. Zoom out. Another test render. This one looks better. Okay, group them together and name it BG cubes. Let's change the render setting, change the engine render to physical and enable depth of field. Okay. Change the position of depth of field. That's our render. And as you can see, we have created depth of field. Using depth of field in your renders give it really a good and realistic result. It takes time when you enable depth of field in your render setting, but the result is worth it to use it. I think this position is good for that. Let's try another position. This one is not good. Okay, let's change the f-stop to 0.3. Maybe 0.2. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay, let's create some extra elements for the background. Make it editable. Okay, I want to remove these points. Select it, disconnect point, and then delete. Okay, create another one. And put both of them inside an sweep object. And change the position of the rectangle to XY and bring down the size. Maybe 10 by 10. Okay, create more copies of that by using a cloner object. Okay, that's good. So it's run there. Yeah, it's better now. Let's add some lights to the scene. And change the details and fallout to inverse square physically accurate. For rendering glass objects in the scene, using this light is really helpful and helps you to create a good and realistic render of glasses. Okay, a test render. You see, it's really nice. Okay, let's go to the content browser and search for gold. This material. Let's search for iron, or maybe steel, or maybe metal. As you can see, there are lots of textures and materials pre-made and included in the content browser of Cinema 4D that you can use them to get to your project, that you can use them inside your projects in order to give your project more acceleration. Okay, let's choose these two, and now let's add them to the objects of the scene. Okay, the another one, and change the selection to R1. For now, let's use the same material for glass parts too. Have another in there. Yeah, that's great. Use these materials to the next letter too. Okay, really nice. Let's add the material to the other part too and have a render. That's good. Okay, add other materials to the other parts of the scene. That's nice. Have another render. Yeah, much more better. Okay, let's rename that cloner object to BG elements and add the iron material to them. Maybe this one is better. And to add more lights to this scene, let's add the sky object and use an HDRI object to give it more brightness. Maybe use this one. Okay, let's add a compositing tag and deselect scene by camera. Have another render. Now as you can see that we have more brighter render. So let's search for glass materials. Okay, maybe use this one. Okay, let's make some changes to the material. And let's add the glass material to the glass parts of the text. Have another render. Okay, let's increase the absorption distance. Okay, that's better. Now let's add some object buffers to the objects of the scene, because we're going to render our scene and maybe we will need to make some changes or change the color of the objects of the scene inside a compositing program like Adobe After Effects, and using the object buffer is a good way to do that inside a compositing projects like Adobe After Effects. Okay, add another one. You can copy that to the other objects of the scene too. Okay, create another one for the background elements. Now go to the render setting, go to multipass and add object buffers. And we can choose the other elements of render, the other pass render that you might need for compositing, for example refraction, reflection, global illumination, ambient occlusion. And let's add global illumination and activate the second method, Alt2, and check the multipass. Go to the save tab and now you can save your project here. Okay, let's change the render setting to high, adaptive high, increase the blindness, and turn the output to 1920 to 1080, and activate alpha channel, and change the number of the object buffers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because we had 5 object buffers in the object menu, in the object manager. And now we are ready to save our project. When you have saved the project, you can hit render. Okay, I have finished the render, and now I'm inside After Effects. So I'm going to make changes to this render. That you can see our render from Cinema 4D is not perfect. I mean, we have to add some elements to that in order to make it more attractive. Okay, search for RAM gradient, gradient ramp effect. Let's change the colors. Dark blue and black. Okay, maybe darker. That's nice. Okay, it's better. Let's bring down the opacity of ambient occlusion. Let's add some fast blur to the other passes, like reflection. Increase the blur radius to 15 maybe, or 10. And copy that and paste it on GI, Global Illumination 2. Okay, as you can see, we have our object buffers here, and by using these object buffers we can change the color of the objects that we have rendered from Cinema 4D, and this option really makes our work easy. Okay, let's add the curve effect, make it a little bit brighter. And increase the blue color too. I think it's enough for that. Object buffer 3. Create an adjustment layer. Rename it to whatever you want with the text, and change the alpha matte option to low matte. Now add the curves effect too, and as you can see, we can make changes to the brightness of the objects. And by using hue and saturation, we can change the color of the objects inside Adobe After Effects. but I do need it here. Okay, let's create some layers for color correction. Right click, go to new adjustment layer, and rename it to optic in order to add optical flares to the scene. Okay, let's add an optical flare here. Maybe let's see which one is good. I think this one is good. Now I can hide or remove the unnecessary parts of the optical flare that I don't want to use them in the scene. I can simply hide them or remove them. But it takes time sometimes to create what you really want. It may be good. Let's change it to track lights. Now let's change the position of our lights. When we have rendered our scene inside Cinema 4D, we have also rendered the lights too, and now we have them inside Adobe After Effects and we can use them. So you can see this here. Okay, maybe change the position of the lights. Let's create a layer layer for color correction. Name it CC, and let's add magic bullet looks. Go to edit, and here you can use a filter for that. This effect is really powerful and it helps you to color correct your scene very easily. Maybe change the effect to, let's go to enhancement part, and I choose this one. Okay, it's good to break down the brightness of the optical flares. Okay, duplicate the render path and just scale it up and bring down the opacity to add extra details to the scene. Leave opacity to 10. And that's it for this comp, and maybe you can duplicate our comp and make other changes to the next one. So let's go to the project window and duplicate our main composition. Okay, let's go to options and choose another lens flare. It's maybe this one. Remove the unnecessary parts. Okay, I like this one. So let's change the color, let's change the rotation. Maybe 45 or 19. Oh, 105 is better. 107. Change the brightness and scale. Okay, I think it's good. Change the color to something red, maybe. Okay, that's nice. Now we can have other copies of the optical flares and just position it inside the scene wherever we want. Okay, can you create another copy? Put it down here. Another copy. Put it there. Bring down the brightness and the scale. Okay, that looks nice. Still we need more duplicates. Let's put this one on letter D. Another copy. Another copy too. And put it down there. Okay, that's it. And now we have our final result here. Let's change the color too. Okay, that's great. So that's for this tutorial, and if you want to watch more videos like this and learn about creating 3D style frames using Cinema 4D and Adobe After Effects, don't forget to subscribe our channel, and I hope you have learned something from today's clip. Have a nice day and see you later.